There. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome. I am Kat Gertson. I am from, well, I live in Ardrossan, Alberta, which is just right outside of Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And I have the lovely privilege of getting to be a co-host with, well, he's right next to me on the screen. I don't know where he is for all of you, but right next to me is Antonio Pennyman. And I'm so excited to be doing this call for all of you because our vision here on this call is that him and I are both so passionate about getting money into people's hands who are busy people, who are busy all day long, and they've already maximized and literally like tapped out their time trade for money avenues, right? You're already doing what you can do. You can only have 24 hours in the day, 7 days a week. That's all that's there for you. You don't get any more, right? And that's who we're talking to. Those people who can sit down on any day of the year and tell you how much money they're going to make in the rest of the year. That was me. I'm a registered massage therapist, and that was something that really, really made me frustrated in my career as a massage therapist, because I could sit down here on January 12th and I could tell you exactly how much money I was going to make for the rest of the year. That's like nice, but I also knew that I needed to make more than that as my electrical bill just comes in on my computer, right? Like we still need that money. But I'm telling you that because I would sit there and I would look at it. I couldn't charge more for massages than were being charged in my area because I would lose my clientele, right? I could only do so many massages in a day because my body would not let me do anymore. And I'm a mom to a little girl. At that time, I started it right out of school. I started. Exactly. Make sure you're not unmuting yourselves. I have it on mute all, so you actually have to unmute yourself to get to talk. um, but I also have a little girl who I had from the moment that I stepped out of massage school. And I didn't want to take time away from her either. And I was already sacrificing so much time on that. So I saw this opportunity. I was telling Antonio and some of his gang that he's brought with us on the call that really at the beginning of it all, it was what got me excited about this company and these products was the oil. Okay, the oil was like hook, line, and sinker sold when I was able to incorporate it into my massage practice with scalp massages, right? I was able to incorporate it in many different areas. I'm not allowed to say certain things that I would say if you and I were having a one-on-one conversation because of compliance stuff, but I'm going to tell you, if you got a spot on your body that is a little dry and crusty, there's a silver bottle that might be really helpful, okay? And that sold me right there, was that bottle right there. I was like, wait a minute. And then it started to sell my clientele without me even having to pitch it to them. Okay. I'm a massage therapist. I don't know how many of you have gone to your massage therapist as like the most sales-like person. No, you prefer if we shut up and rub, right? Like we're not known to be the ones that are going to be chatting you, pitching you a business opportunity, right? So I didn't actually have to do that. They just saw the results themselves, and that inspired me, right? And I'm going to let Antonio touch on a few other things, but what I'm going to tell you is the number one thing that it inspired me to was that in my field, in my industry of massage therapy, if I wasn't at the table, I wasn't making money, right? Just like a lash tech, just like a nail tech, just like a stylist. If I wasn't there, I wasn't making money, and I worked for myself. Okay. So summer break, that didn't happen in my life, right? That meant I had to go without pay for 2 weeks to take my daughter on like the typical summer break that you get from a regular job, right? That's why I did this. That's why I hustled so hard for it, because I was like, listen, I'm gonna at least pay for that. So I'm gonna have Antonio come over, and he's gonna come over. He's not at my house. He's in California, but he's gonna jump on in here, and he's gonna share a little bit about what he sees from it, because he came from a different service industry, which is much like any other one. You're not getting paid unless you're there. So I'm gonna let him take it away and talk a little bit there for you.
Hey, thank you, Kat. I really appreciate it. If you are in a place that you can turn your camera on, please turn your camera on. I want to see your beautiful faces. Seriously, I'm not judging you. I don't care if you don't have your lashes on or your makeup or anything. I want to see your beautiful faces. I want to talk to you tonight. I'm Antonio. I've been locked in with what we're doing for about 15 months now, And like she said, in a service industry, you have to be present in order to get paid. You actually have to show up and do the work in order to get paid. And when I stepped away from that, it was it was a win-win, the opportunity that we have. And when I look at the barbers in the industry, and I love business, but a lot of barbers don't understand business, right? And I was talking to my barber the other day. I moved from Utah to California, moved back to California, and I was like, wow, he lost out on me. And as we go through this presentation, I want to ask you guys, I'm going to ask you guys some questions, and I want you to think about this, right? Whatever service you're in, whether it's massage, whether it's you're a barber, you're a stylist, you're a server, you do lashes, whatever service that is, I want you to ask yourself this: are the products you using non-toxic and vegan? Because when I sat down in my barber's chair and he's putting all of these things on me, and I really didn't even ask him. I don't care. We trust our barber. We trust the people that are doing the service. So if you have a service, people trust you already. They won't turn around and be like, hey, what are you putting on me? Unless they have, they're allergic to something and they letting you know. So are they non-toxic and vegan? Second, does the company pay you for using the product? Because I know there's a lot of products out there that people are using, and they're just spending their money and using a product and they're not getting paid for it. Another thing, if your clients move to a different state or even just a different city across town, you will lose them. You're not getting paid. You can no longer provide that service for them, right? Um, Another thing, are you getting paid when you're not doing that service? That's one of the biggest things, right? Am I getting paid when I'm not massaging people? Am I getting paid when I'm cutting hair? Am I getting paid when I'm doing, like, we want to show you that that you can get paid when you're not doing your service. And another thing, are your barbers or stylists or lash people, are they competitors, or they're your teammates, right? If I have 5 barbers in the same area and we only have X amount of people in the city, they're going to go to them, and I'm losing money because they're going to other people, right? And as we go through this, towards the end, I'm going to circle back on those questions, and I'm going to show you how what we provide can answer all of those things for you in a positive. And I know that some of us make our own schedule, and that's great. But we have kids out there where we want to go to sporting events, we want to go to school events, and we have to say no to our clients, and we're missing out on money, which I know we would love to just be with our kids and not be able to miss those moments, but we're also missing out on money and putting food on the table. So I can show you how saying yes to your kids or those activities, and you don't have to say no to your paycheck, right? So we can fill in those gaps. So as we go on with this, you're going to hear 2 people that are just starting out and using these products and the opportunity, and then you're going to hear 2 vets that's been in it for a while, and we're skeptical before. So I just want to be able to give you guys the information to make it make sense for you, and let's have some fun with it.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you guys. Okay. Who's not at least like this much more pumped up for this than you were before when you pushed like join Zoom call, right? I'm jacked. I'm so excited. I get really, 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 really excited when I see men take this business seriously. I really do. And not just because I am a lover of men, but because I think that it is so important that we don't just like brush past anyone, right? That we don't prejudge that this might not be for someone, because I promise you, I was prejudged a lot before. As a matter of fact, I am a top income earner in this entire company, okay? And very much so in my country of Canada. And I had never been, like, no one's ever had asked me to do network marketing before, right? Everyone had always prejudged me on that fact there. But we have Brian coming, and he is in California as well. I'm going to ask you to unmute Brian. And he is like just getting his wheels going in this business. And I think it's so important that you guys hear from someone in that place, because it's easy for you guys to look at me and Antonio and kind of roll your eyes and be like, oh yeah, but you're up there. That, of course you're passionate. But we want to hear from Brian, who, he's a massage therapist. He's getting his wheels going in this business, and he has like a passion for this. All right. So Brian, what fires you up about this business, this industry, and what it brings into your current business that you have?
So I start like when Antonio first started, I'm always gonna support, like that's my brother. So I'm always gonna support any and everything he do. And when he first was kind of telling me about the products and stuff, um, I kind of was like skeptical, like most people are. But I was like, before I really want to reach out and tell people about it, I want to know that these products work
Mm,
myself. So the first thing I did was get the face wash, and like the first time I used it after, I was like, oh my god, like just the feeling after, like felt refreshed, and like I never had a skincare routine before that, so just getting on that, like it kind of like on days I would miss doing it either in the morning or in the night, I was like, man, I forgot to I forgot to do my face, but like I start feeling like my face start feeling different, looking different. Like I went on vacation, I was getting compliments on my skin, like stuff like that had never happened before. So like that happened. Then I started using the shampoo, and just feeling like the kind of the same thing with the face. Um, so it started like that. And then I've never been the type of person to kind of, you know, hey, you should do this, you should do that. Like, I'll tell you about it. And if you want to do it, then you do it. If you don't, you don't. Like, that's the type of person I am. I guess that's why I do massage therapy too, because I don't have to really talk to people. When they come in, they lay on the table, they relax, and then they out of there. But the other day when we had the phone call about how I can kind of incorporate the products into my business, the wheels start rolling during the call. And the very next day, when I was getting clients on my table, the first thing I was thinking when doing the massage, I'm like, what product could I use to help them? Like,
mm,
do they have dry skin? Do they have cracked feet? Do what they like enhancement this way or that way? How can I use the oils? How can I use the scrubs to benefit them? Um, and like Antonio said earlier about the whole, um, if your client moves, what do you do? Like being in California and with everything going up, it's a lot of people leaving California. Um, with prices of everything, it's a lot of people. The first thing they're going to do is cut back on um like massage, because people don't look at massage as something they need. They look at it as, you know, kind of like a luxury. So they instantly, like, if you're going to cut back in your budget, the first thing you're going to cut back from is going and get a massage. So I've probably in the last month or two, I've probably lost like 10 clients because they either moved or they just can't afford it. And then two, when the pandemic had, I know probably a lot of people on this phone call, when the pandemic happened, I couldn't work.
mhm,
I couldn't work. So it was like, what do I do? And like at the time, if I would have had something like this, it would have been a lot smoother. But yeah, definitely just having the products and using the product, I could definitely see how incorporated into my business, how it's gonna benefit just the enhancements for my customers. Like if I do a foot scrub or if I do the scalp massage, like that's they're already there, so they're gonna get the product and feel how it feels, and then they're gonna be like, "Hey, what did you use?" Or and let them know, you know, you can take this, you could have this at home. Like it don't have to be a thing where you just have to use it when you're in my space. You could use it at home as well.
mhm. And I think that's a big thing that a lot of people haven't like realized with the shift in our company. We started off as a hair care company. When I joined in 2015, we were predominantly hair care. And I don't know if you could even call us that because we had 12 products. Like it wasn't like we didn't have this big line, but now we're stepping in where we got body care, we got skin care. Like we got the whole body covered, no pun intended, with Monat, right? And so, Brian, I absolutely love when you're saying about how, okay, and please note this because he said it so perfectly, and I don't even know if he planned on saying it this way, but he was not talking about making a sale to his customers. He was thinking about how can I help them? That's what this is about. People aren't running around and trying to like, hey, you, buy my shampoo, drink the Kool-Aid. Like, no, he's purely here thinking, I'm here to serve, right? Every single person who's listening on this call right now, you are in the service industry. You are in an industry that lives to serve people. It is your passion to help people, right? And so, Brian, I want to ask you one more question before we move on to Aura. And I want to know, like, what is freedom down the line for you to choose your clientele and to choose the times that you're working, that you're not like tied to the table? What does that do for your life when you can see that in the future? And I know you can see that coming, especially once the wheels started turning and you're like, oh, this can work for me. I know that's going to happen right away for you, where you're going to be able to get rid of those clients you don't like, right? But I know you have other things in your life. You know, we were going to do this call on a different night, but we are doing it on this night because of a certain reason for you. So do you want to like touch on that, like that freedom aspect?
Yeah, so freedom, that's everything to me because so I have my own practice, and the whole reason why I started my own practice was to have that freedom. I worked for Massage Envy at one time, and I believe it was like my son's sixth grade graduation ceremony, whatever you want to call it. And I asked for time off, and they told me, like, I've been working for this company for years, and they told me in order to get that time off, I had to find somebody to cover my shift. So I'm like, I'm going regardless if you let me go or like I'm going regardless. So end up having somebody cover the shift for me because they heard the conversation. But like that was the turning point where I was like, okay, I got to get out and go and do my own. But like when my son, he's a senior in high school this year. So next year he'll be going to college, and he's a basketball player. So having that freedom to go as I please, to get on a flight, go to his games, be there to support him, that's going to be everything for me. So doing that and knowing that I'll have to miss a day or miss 2 days, but still be able to bring in money when I'm not at the office, that's going to be everything for me.
Right? Especially if you're getting to travel to all these different places and you're just meeting new people, where it's like, as a therapist, you know, as a massage therapist, you could meet someone in like Houston or Florida, but you can't be like, hey, you should come get a massage for me. Well, where are you? California. They're like, are you crazy? Right? But now, like, everywhere you go is an opportunity, right? So like they're like, I just think it's so great, and I'm so excited for you, and I am so jacked to like follow your entire career with Monat that's going to happen. And I also know that it's just going to like make you have your customers like on the table, like your clients are going to be so much happier because, like Antonio said, you're going to have non-toxic, cruelty-free, the best dang products out there on them. And that's awesome in itself. So we're going to switch gears now over here. We got Aura, and I'm really excited for you guys to chat with her because we got really fired up in our chat as we were like planning this one. So I believe Aura is in Utah. I don't know. She was on my, okay, there we go. I see her again. She is in Utah, and are you unmuted there? Okay, awesome. And this is really cool, you guys. She just got off work.
Literally sitting on my table right now.
Oh, I love it. Awesome. So I guess you can make money on your table like that too, right? Awesome. Okay, so Aura, I want for you to talk to me about how this opportunity has kind of started unfolding for you, because what I really want everyone to understand is that there is a day that you join Monat, and then there's a day that you decide to join Monat, and they're two completely different days. Right? They're two completely different days, and they don't happen most of the time even on the same day. So I would love for you to talk through, like, you know what? Yeah, you pushed accept, you came in, but talk to us about that day that like you were like, what made you be like hook, line, sinker? Like, I'm here, I'm gonna like actually do this because I see this as an opportunity to go places.
That's funny. Antonio's pointing at the screen right now. I mean, honestly, I kind of joined at the moment, it was kind of like, I love the network marketing world, just the personal development that comes from it. I wouldn't be as successful in my massage practice now 5 years if it wasn't for the skills and the mindset that I had learned in previous adventures that I had done with network marketing. So why Monat? I really wanted to learn more about my hair care, curly hair products. Being curly headed, I hated my hair growing up. I always wanted curl or straight hair you could run your fingers through. And then I have a little daughter who is biracial, and so she's half black, and her curls are even more curly than mine, right? So learning how to care for her curls as well, so that she doesn't grow up despising her hair like I did. Because once you curls are so fun when you actually learn how to care for them and how to we get the best of both worlds, because we can rock straight if we really want to, but why would we want to?
I'm always,
anyways.
I'm always so envious of curly haired girls, because I'm like I have to work so hard to look as beautiful as your hair does right now, and it probably still wouldn't happen.
Well, thank you. So yeah, that's kind of where I started with Monat.
And then what made you decide to work the business? Because there's one difference between being like, okay, I'll put the products on my body, but then there's the day where you're like, all right, I'm gonna let them start making deposits into my bank account, right? Talk to us about that day for you.
I think I kind of started taking it a little bit more, seeing more the potential of it. I went to Monations this year. I mean, I signed up, what was it, January, February, I think, last year, but I wasn't really doing much with it, just kind of dibbling and dabbling. But I signed up for Monations because I love the energy that comes from events like that. There's just nothing like being in the room of events like that. And then learning about I love the different culture, the different cultures of Monat. Like the founding family is from a Latin American country. I don't really even know which one. Oh, it's bad. But all the different cultures, the possibility to take this really globally, I kind of love personally.
Right. It makes all of a sudden plane tickets become tax write-offs. I'm not mad about that. That's an exciting part and perk of our business, which, I would have to carry my massage table in through an airport for that to be a tax write-off previously. So I'm not mad about those perks there. But so I want to ask you kind of along the same lines of the question that I asked Brian earlier, but me and you, we're both ladies, and I want to hear from a mom's perspective on that freedom there, because I know for me it was a big deal that I was going to be present for my daughter, right, and not have to choose certain things, or if I was choosing certain things, it was because I wanted to, not because I had to, right? There's a big difference there, right, between want and I have to, right? So why don't you talk a little bit about that, right?
Yeah, as far as the time freedom, that's definitely, I mean, I personally, that's kind of where I began my massage career at Massage Envy as well, but I hated that I, had to ask somebody for days off if I want, whatever. So that's why I started my own practice as a massage. But now, 5 years into being self-employed, I realized the difference of being self-employed versus having a business that's running without you in it, or without you physically there, right? So that's kind of where if I happen to I go sledding with my children the other day and happened to hit a little, I don't know, I fell, my wrist was not happy, and I was like, oh, I'm done, because if I injure my wrist, then how are these bills going to get paid?
Well, and that's another big thing that I think that so many people in our industries, whether or not you're a hairstylist, barber, massage therapist, lash tech, whatever it is, we get so short-sighted that we're just seeing the next client, but eventually your body's going to wear out. Eventually you're not going to be able to do it. I know up here in Canada, they did a study, and you're considered like a geriatric massage therapist if you massage for more than 15 years in a row. Like they're like, you are like unicorn status up here if you can like make that happen. Right. And that's a big deal because it is a grueling, intensive job. And to not be either you can extend your career by doing less massages, which is what, less money, right? Or doing what Aura's doing, where it's like getting that diversified income, right? Dental hygienists, right? Like, yeah, they're the same. Bent over, just like Lash Techs, everyone's bent, right? In that idea there. But it's something as simple as you're self-employed. So I don't know what would you have short-term disability to go on if you did hurt your wrist going down the hill? Like we don't have those guarantees in, you either work for somewhere like Massage Envy, where they're going to tell you what you have to do with your schedule. You're going to have to like sell your soul to the devil to get a day off, it sounds like, or you're going to go be self-employed, but take all of the risks if you can't make it happen then.
Right.
Right. So I'm really jacked about that. So if you were to like, when you were looking at the products, obviously it really works for your hair. Right. But as we kind of talked in the last little bit, were you the same way after we had that conversation, like Brian said, where like the gears started turning, where he was like, damn, like these can help my clients.
Yeah. So honestly, because Antonio had talked to me like, oh, you know, you need to incorporate these into your business. And I was like, okay, great. I don't, whatever. How, but you don't, or you're not a massage therapist. You're how, okay. Sounds good, bro. How? So, but, and then I was like, whatever, but I'm sitting there doing like chair massage and I'm looking at people's scalps. I was like, oh, you need X, Y, and Z, like, and but how do I go from here, let me put my elbow in your shoulder to you need to put this on your head now. Right. So having a conversation with you as someone who's, you know, incorporated these into your business, it made a lot more sense to do, you know, the tips and tricks that we had discussed. So yeah,
no,
the gears were definitely turning of how I need to upgrade my menu.
Right. And just like really guys, like if you're sitting here and you're like on the, I always call it like the other side of the accept button, meaning like you haven't joined us yet. I want you just to think about, like she just said, menu, like when you can expand your menu. That's what I got so excited for as a massage therapist, because really there's not a lot that you can expand from without a lot of hours and a lot of money for training, right? Like I could go and expand into like active release treatment, but that's going to be another $15,000 in schooling. Right? But you toss in a scalp massage with an oil treatment and you don't charge people for it. And you just say, tell me what you think tomorrow. Tell me what your hair is like tomorrow. And when they're raving about it, that's so exciting. And you're going to add value and you're going to add this like extra love into it. Right. And then the bigger perk is if any of you have a massage therapist on your team, okay, market partners here, or if you are a massage therapist, I can't speak for other industries because I'm not that, but like if you are, you're missing out if you don't do wine and washes, because I will tell you, I give a mean scalp massage in the shampoo bowl and people are going to buy from you, right? After that, they're like, whoa, what was that? Because I'm like, just go doing some cranial therapy on there and like, let's go. Right. So you have a skill set that is going to pay dividends in it. So we're going to actually transition over now to a hairstylist who is another service industry and probably someone that you'd be more like apt to think that Monat would go towards. Right. Well, that's not really the case for Nikki. Nikki was like a tricky one. So I have Nikki. She's here from Winnipeg, Manitoba. So I just also want to pause here for a second and just like also let you see, we're like covering like a bajillion different places right now. Right. We're like North American call right now. And we have speakers from literally all different tricky Nikki. I like it. We got her a new name. I love it. But Nikki, could you, okay, you are unmuted, and I would just love for you to, number one, say that you're Nikki and you're a hairstylist and you use Monat. Just say that right there.
Hi, my name is Nikki Fix and I'm a hairdresser and I use Monat.
Did everyone record that? No, just kidding. Awesome. Okay. So I have the pleasure of knowing Nikki. But a lot of other people in here don't know Nikki. And Nikki, you definitely were not just like jumping into the ship and rowing away into the distance of Monat land. Like you kind of had your pieces holding you back, right? But like, talk to us about that. Because I think a lot of people want to hear about that part, because I think everyone knows a lot of stylists who are creeping, but not in.
Okay, so I'll do it as short and quick as I can. But I've actually been here since October 31st, which is really funny that it was the 31st, the last day of the month of 2016. And I was a closet Monator for a year and a little bit because I didn't want anyone to know that I bought it, that I used it, that I liked it, nothing. So I told my upline to not post any pictures of me, not talk about me, not tag me, nothing. And probably like, so my auntie is actually who sent me the product, and she sent me samples and I wanted to hate it. I took pictures. I like pulled my hair out, I'm sure, in the shower and put it on the shower. And after like 5 washes, I absolutely fell in love with it. And I ordered the biggest product pack, which I think it was even more than it is now. I think it was like $1,000 or something then. And I didn't talk about it. I didn't tell anybody. I used it. I put it in all 3 of my bathrooms. My kids used it. We all loved it. I have like almost black hair, and I am like a 30 volume and bleach baby since I was probably 15. So my hair is, or used to be, like my secretary used to call me Scarecrow because my hair could do absolutely anything because it would like stand. And my hair now is like bouncy and softy, bleach blonde. So I noticed the changes in myself. I think I got my mom, my sisters hooked on it at the very beginning, but didn't tell anybody else. And then a Vegas trip came up, and it was if you built a neighborhood, you got to go to Vegas. And at that time, I was pregnant. I had a 12-year-old and a 13-year-old at home, and I was pregnant again. And Mama Nikki needed to go to Vegas. And so I signed up like my best friend, my mom, I don't know, like that's when I signed up my mom, my sister, and a best friend as market partners or something like that. I got some close clients, whatever, to be like the 12 VIPs, and Mama Nikki's going to Vegas. So that was like the spring of 2017, October 2017, I went to Vegas. And I remember calling my cousin on the way there saying like, I'm not even going to these stupid conventions. Like, I'm going to Vegas with my 4-month-old baby, and we are going to eat and drink and walk the streets. We're not going to any of these conventions. And when I got there, the girls, I didn't even know any of them. I didn't know because my auntie didn't do the business. She just like hooked me up. I didn't know any of the girls. I was going there alone. My mom or my sister came with me as the nanny for my little guy, and everybody was so amazing. We went out for suppers. We did all these fun things and drinks. And I went to every single thing at the convention, every single one. And all the girls who I didn't know held Ezra. I didn't even like touch my son the whole time I was there because everyone was just loving, amazing. And here's this hairdresser that's wowed by the presentation, wowed by what was going on in stage. And I worked with like a really big hairdressing company before that, and went to a lot of big events with this company that I paid a lot of money for. This one was completely paid for, and it was exactly the same. Like I was wowed what was on stage. It was free drinks, free food. That never happened in the hairdressing industry, right? My sister and I had to push the stroller back to the hotel room that night because we had a little bit too much fun. But like, I was just amazed by the whole thing. And when I got home the next week, I put Monat into my salon. And that was huge for me because that was not my intention nor what I wanted to do. 2 months later, my upline, I think, drove into Manitoba from Saskatchewan and did my first meet Monat. My girlfriend, Jen, who is also a hairdresser, she had no idea what was going on, but loved me and trusted me. And we've always wanted to work together. Meanwhile, we've never been in the same salon ever. And she decided to jump in and be a market partner. One of my longtime clients became a market partner. And then the rest was kind of history, but very, very slow moving, didn't get on any calls, still was very non-postal, like didn't want to be on anything. It took me probably, I don't even know, Kat, what would you say? I've been doing calls for maybe 2 years now.
Yeah. But I think that what what's really, really special about it is, and I think that it's really cool that it was a point that Antonio brought up at the beginning, where like you're like one of your besties who you've never gotten to work with before, and you've never worked in the same salon. It was kind of like in that moment when Jen joined you and you were like, I think that's where it like initially started to plant that seed, because all of a sudden it became very different than what you were used to in the hair care world, where you guys were no longer like competition. You are no longer all these different things. And I think that's a big part about what brings us all together. But I want you to share with them, because I think that a lot of people need to hear this, whether or not you are a stylist, a nail tech, massage therapist, all of the different things. But like, what made you see the light? Because now I'll tell you, like, Nikki is an absolute machine in our business. She is tops in personal volume sales all the time. She shows up for her team all the time. She is constantly training in our team page, and not just on product recommendations or anything like that. Like, she is an absolute customer service genie. Like, she is so freaking good with her customers and with her team, and she shows up so hard for that. But that doesn't just happen. That grows and develops. And I would love to for you to just to kind of share lastly on that light that you saw that made that Nikki come out.
Okay, so I don't know. I think that it's like a journey, right? And definitely mine was like a crazy journey. And I think anyone's gonna have this journey, and along the way, signing up for Monat, whether you're a hairstylist or whatever it is, there's gonna be things that like pop up that you're like, that is why, that is why, that is why, right? And it's gonna be different things. Like I wrote down like a few different things. Like definitely the opportunity is going to help expand your network. It's going to help create income. It's also going to prolong your career, which is absolutely massive, right? As simple as like, so I was on mat leave. There's no such thing as mat leave, right? When you have your own business. So when I had Ezra, like he was a week old, I was carrying him in like the front carrier, cutting and coloring hair, right? So it's been like a journey where I didn't think I was going to have this baby 12 years after the fact of me having like almost grown children, right? And so like right now I have an almost 19-year-old, an 18-year-old, and an almost 6-year-old, right? And so I thought that I was going to move to this new community. So I had worked at my old salon for 7 years. I moved to this new community. I was going to go back to working 10 to 12-hour days. I was going to have this crazy new busy salon. Well, my life changed. So like I had this journey where then I wasn't able to work behind the chair as much, right? And then there is like, so mat leave. And then you look into like sick days or, you know, surgeries or all those different things where if you're in the service industry, you're not getting paid for, which was definitely talked about, right? And there's things such as like the $10,000 to $15,000 worth of inventory that I had on my shelf. I no longer had to have $10,000 worth of product because I had to have 3 to 5 shampoos, 3 to 5 of all these different things. I could have 1 or 2. And my clients were then getting their products either off my shelf if they needed it quickly or in 3 to 7 business days, right? Like that was a massive thing as a salon owner. I moved, like I said, I moved 2 hours away. So one thing that I really noticed with the Monat product is, which is really weird to say as a hairdresser, is my clients were coming in and their hair was healthy. Like to be able to tell your client you don't need a haircut, it's kind of crazy, right? But it's true. So I have clients that are 2 hours away that are only coming to me like way less now, and their hair is staying healthy because I'm able to help them, right? Like, so I'm able to help my clients from my old salon. I'm able to help my new clients. I'm able to help my family that lives in the States. Like that's a very cool thing too. It's not just people behind my chair now. Like I'm able to help people all over, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know. And also the fact that hairdressers, and I think massage therapy and stuff like that too, we're givers, right? Like we kind of like, even though I haven't taken any therapy courses, I kind of feel like I give therapy more than haircuts sometimes, right? And I think that in this industry too, like we're bringing in customers, we're bringing in market partners, and like as hairdressers, we don't really give ourselves we don't really help ourselves. I think we're kind of last, right? All day long, we talk about our clients' issues, our clients' problems. We're trying to help them. We're trying to make them feel beautiful and loved on the outside and on the inside. And we kind of give ourselves last. Where with Monat, it's a personal development, career just as much as it is anything else, right? And so we're feeding into ourselves while we're feeding into the outsides and insides of others as well, whether it's our VIPs or our market partners that are coming in. And I think just hairdressers have that natural thing. So now we're getting these business partners that we're able to feed into too. And I think that feels so good as a hairdresser. I don't know. There's just so many different avenues and things. And I think I kind of like went off topic there a bit, but
Okay.
there's so many different avenues you could go, right?
Right. And there's so many points. And I love the point that she said that you go along the way in your journey with it and you're like, oh, that's why. Oh, that's why. Oh, that's
There's
why.
just constant, like as I was going through it, it's just so many. Like right now, my son, he requires more work than I thought he would. I thought I'd be able to, he'd turn 5, go to kindergarten, and I'd be able to get back to my regular hours in the salon. Well, it's not like that with him, right? And so I'm able to cut back in my salon and still make money. Like I've been doing it for 24 years. So I started hairdressing in 1998. So my wings are broken. I always say that. Like if you're a hairdresser, you know what I'm talking about. Your wings are done, right? Like my wings are tired. And I was always so scared to step away from the chair. Like with the pandemic, we were closed for 16 weeks, right? You're scared to shut off the lights, whether it's temporary or whether it is permanent, but I'm not scared anymore, whether it's temporary or permanent, because I know that I'm going to have this and it's going to be a journey that's just going to keep on showing me more and more and more as I go.
I love that. And thank you so much, Nikki. And I think that's fantastic because just purely the phrase that you're like not scared to turn off the lights if it's temporary or permanent. Like, because you've been doing this since 2016, right? Is that what you said? 16? Yeah. Right.
Well, I
Like,
signed up in 2016.
but since 2017 is when she really started going for it. Right. And that's what, the equation of like the same thing over and over again compounds to really, really awesome things. And so I'm going to let Mr. Antonio take it away and close us off for the evening. But I just want to say thank you to everyone who showed up, everyone who gave us their time. So thank you. But Antonio, take it away.
No, thank you for all of that. Like I was just over here taking notes and just listening to everything. But I do want to touch on a few things that I feel like everybody said: the pandemic, the recession. I believe that Monat grew it was the fastest growing company during the pandemic because you couldn't go out, but everybody needed their shampoo, they needed their body care. So they ordered online and got it straight to their door. And so it just shows that if anything happens like that, we can still make money. We're recession proof, right? And then the injured or sick, Aura was talking about she can't injure her wrist. And, if somebody gets sick, we can't show up and massage or cut hair when we cough in and sick, right? But we can still work from home while we're sick and while we're getting well, right? And so in earning the trips, Nikki talking about earning a trip. I mean, who don't want to earn free trips, right? She needed it. It came at the right time. But also it got her around the community that she never thought that she needed, right? When she got around the people that was just so nice and so welcoming and showed her, it's kind of like being in the game with the people that's in the game instead of listening to the crowd, people on the sidelines, right? But I want to go back to those questions that I asked you guys in the beginning. Are your products non-toxic or vegan? I asked my barber this. He said, I don't know. I said, how do you not know what you're putting on people's head? Like you're contributing to cancers, right? You putting cancers and toxic things on people's scalp and you're going out there, you're contributing to that. So it makes you think. So we have non-toxic vegan products, European beauty standards, where we have 1,400 banned ingredients. In the US, it's only 11, right? So just think about that. The company is actually paying us to use these products, actually paying us to share these products. And I know there's a lot of companies out there that's not doing that. If your client moved to another state, if somebody like the person that signed me up live in Utah and they were taking care of me because I moved to California, I still love these products. They're still making money off of everything that I purchase and everything that I share with other people. And all it takes is one person, one of your clients, to fall in love with the products and say, you know what? I'm sharing this with everybody. And guess who's getting paid? You, off of somebody else's efforts, right? And so, and you're getting paid when you're not cutting hair or doing your service. And another thing, the barbers or the other people in service is not your competitors, they're your teammates. This is how Nikki said. She linked up with another stylist, and now they don't have to compete for who's gonna do whose hair. They're actually winning together, right? And so instead of saying, oh man, I don't want this person to go to this barber, you can connect with that barber. Say, hey, I got these products. I love them. This is what they're doing. I use them on my clients. That barber will use the products on his clients and share with his clients, and you getting paid off their clients, and you're not even cutting their hair. You don't even have to know them, right? And so it's a huge, huge opportunity for you to go out there and like Laura said, expand your menu and offer a different service. We're in the service industry where we're giving experience. Everybody wants the experience. It's like, why should I go to you to get a massage? Why should I go to you to get a haircut? We're actually giving more experience with this. And who don't want to pay themselves 60 extra checks a year? I mean, we get paid tomorrow twice, right? We get paid every Friday and on the 15th. And I looked at the commissions today, and all I said was, wow. I text my brother down there, and he was just like, what did it tell me? I'm like, wow, that's all I have to say. But it's all about, it's all come from you serving, helping your clients, right? Adding value to your clients. And that's what it is. So, I just want to be the first person to say, welcome to the family. For those of you that are on this call, that's not a part of it yet. Hopefully something was said and you heard something tonight and be like, you know what, let me go ahead and take a look at this. So this is a win-win. I can go into there's money back guarantee. You can try these products for 30 days. You can try this business for 30 days. And if you don't like it, you can send it back, but I know you won't. We have a less than 1% return rate, and I love what we do. So I just thank you all for taking your time out tonight. I think we had 50 minutes. So thank you for it, because people have short attention spans, right? But thank you guys for hopping on tonight. I really appreciate it. Get back with the person that brought you in, ask the questions, because skepticism is just unanswered questions. So ask all the questions. It's what you know, not what you think. All right. Go ahead, Kat.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. This recording will be available as soon as it's available. And then we'll get it out to you in those ways. But thank you guys so much. Thank you, Antonio. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Aura and Nikki. And have a great night, guys. Bye.